welcome to Screen Time with today's Communiqué. So honored to have the mayor of El Dorado, Arkansas, and her beautiful daughter joining us today to talk about all things motherhood and Mother's Day. Of course, we know for the month of May, Mother's Day is probably one of the most celebrated holidays of the year. And so we are so delighted and honored to have Mayor Creer Smith and her daughter joining us this evening to talk about Mother's Day. Before we jump into the conversation, though, we do want to give a special shout out and thank you to our series sponsor, Latanya Austin Honorable. For all of your legal, social, and community needs, make the honorable choice. So, Mayor, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
I'm elated to be here. Thank you so much for inviting us.
Yes, ma'am. So before we talk about Mother's Day and motherhood, why don't you introduce yourself to those out there who may not know you, and tell us a little bit about your career path, and then introduce your beautiful daughter.
Okay. Well, my name is Veronica Smith-Creer. I'm currently the mayor here in El Dorado, Arkansas. A little bit of herstory. I am the first female and the first person of color to ever be elected as mayor here in the city of El Dorado. My husband and I have a small business, BC Carpet Cleaning, vacuum cleaner and floor service that he does all the work, but we're co-owners. Can I just throw that in?
Yes, that's the way it works.
Right. Right, but I am a lifelong resident of El Dorado. I was born and raised here, community leader, so to speak. I've served on a lot of boards, on a lot of commissions throughout the years. As a mother, I've served on the PTO and held offices there when Vishalia was little, and just continued to do that. Worked on a lot of different campaigns before I decided to step into the political arena. But I am here. I tell people I ran for mayor because I love people. I love to make a difference and I love to connect people. So that is one of the reasons why I decided to join. Now, my daughter, Vishalia, here, has done a lot of amazing things in her own right. And if she'll let me brag on her just a little bit by introducing her, she graduated from El Dorado High School in 2015 and went straight into college and graduated in December of 2018, the same year I ran for mayor and won. So her senior year, she had a lot. She had a lot on her, but she is an achiever. She's an overachiever, and I'm so proud of her and so grateful to be able to do this for you for Mother's Day with her. As you can see, I have a portrait in my background. That is my mother, Alberta Linnell Smith. She passed away in 2016, and I don't want to say she left. I know exactly where she is, and I'm grateful to have her in my background, kind of sitting on my shoulder today.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. I love it. And congratulations, Vishalia, on all of your accomplishments.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. So, Mayor, we're talking about motherhood. We're honoring Mother's Day. So, talk a little bit about what the feeling was like for you when you found out that you were going to be a mom. Take us back to that moment and share a little bit about that.
Well, let me say that when my husband and I got married, I have two bonus sons. And my prayer when I found out expecting was that I would have a girl. That was my prayer. I wanted a girl because I felt like they were both daddy's boys. And I was going to have a girl because she was going to want to follow me and she was going to want to be like me. That was not true. Vishalia might be the biggest daddy's girl there is. But a little, I think with any mother, when you find out you're gonna be a mother, there's a little apprehension, a little bit of fear. You want to make sure that you're gonna do everything right. You want to make sure you're ready. But my mother was very encouraging. She was very supportive. So Vishalia is actually the first grandchild of the family. So a huge responsibility with that.
Absolutely. So Vishalia, tell us a little bit about what it was like growing up with your mom. She was very involved in the PTO and all of your activities.
Yes, yes, yes. She was involved in everything. She took me to almost all of her meetings. She did a lot of things in the community, so we stayed on the go. So that was a good experience in the long run.
were there times where you were like thinking, okay, mom, do we have to go to another meeting? Is there one more event that we can just kind of stay at home from? Do we have to go?
Yes,
Times like
yes,
that?
all the time.
And so, what do you think, looking back and reflecting upon that experience now, what does that mean to you?
She took her time with me. She made sure that, I had everything I needed. She basically molded me into the woman I am now. So all of the meetings, all of the community work, it paid off. I'm very involved in the community now. So kind of just second nature.
Do you think that was as a result of you growing up and having to tag along with your mom to all of those different community events, or do you think that would have happened naturally?
Definitely not naturally. Definitely not naturally.
Okay, okay. And so, Mayor, when you think about the time you were raising your children, I know life gets very, very busy, and we know that children need to eat. So, what was your go-to meal, quick meal that you would kind of throw together at the last minute, um, knowing that the kids needed to be fed?
Spaghetti is a good throw together meal. Spaghetti and meat sauce.
Okay.
This, you can put salad with that, do some garlic bread, do that very relatively quickly. So that was one of my go-to meals. It kind of continues to be. But Shirley would always say that if it were not for her father, she would starve. He's the one that likes to cook. But I always made sure she ate. But that was one of my go-to meals. That's a quick meal that you can put together relatively quickly.
Right. Okay. Absolutely. Spaghetti with salad and garlic bread. Yes. You cannot beat that. Can't beat it. And so, what advice would you give um, to moms who are to new moms who are expecting, maybe a little bit nervous, anxious about the whole experience? What advice would you give to them about motherhood?
Take your time. Take your time. Don't be anxious. Your parenting style may be different from everyone else's, but own it. All children are different. We have three, and all of them are completely different. So you just have to take your time and figure out what your direction is going to be with your baby. A lot of times, I think we take other people's advice to heart, and people can only advise you on their experiences. So you just need to take your time and figure out what works for you. I raised Vishalia in a kind of non-traditional way as far as the way I was raised. My mother, she did a lot of babysitting at home. My mother was an in-home mother. And as Vishalia mentioned, we got out a lot. We went to a lot of meetings. We went to a lot of activities. We went to a lot of events. And it was what worked for me. And Vishalia didn't mention that in her being molded, what she does now is she works for DHS. So she is still very much, like she said, involved in the community, involved with people. So you just have to figure out what works for you. And I think that's what takes a little bit of the fear and the nervousness out for new mothers, is that you have to figure out how your baby is going to be and how you're going to work with that. A lot of people tell you to sleep when your baby sleeps, to work when your baby is up, and that's good advice. But sometimes when your baby is asleep, there are some things that you can do. So you just have to figure out what works for you, getting your own little groove. But one of the main things is that works for everybody is make sure you show them a lot of love. Make sure you take the time to take pictures, to make memories. So when you're able to look back on it, you can see the things that you did. But Shayla hates it when I ask her from time to time, was I a good mother? but we see it through our eyes, and a lot of times we want to see it through theirs. So just make sure you're taking the time, do things your way. And it may not be traditional for other people, but make sure it works for you.
Right. I love that. Making sure that it works for you, because not all experiences are the same. And so we have to do what works for our situation. I love that. And so we see there, you mentioned you have a photo of your mom on the wall.
Mhm.
What bit of advice would you say that your mom gave you that has stuck with you all this time?
My mother was a disciplinary. She, I don't think I was as much as she was, but one of the things she always continued to instill in us was that her thing was, I've been where you're trying to go. So that, what I'm telling you is to get you where you need to be. So to just continue to give motherly advice, to be concerned, to be a part of just about everything. But Shayla can talk to me about anything. And that's from my mother. She had an open door. We could discuss anything with her. And that's one of the things my grandmother used to say, when they're babies, they're on your lap. As they get older, they're on your heart. But we make sure that we keep those connections. And that's how my mother was. She always made sure, even as grown-ups, we were always her babies. So you continue to keep that bond. And I think that's one of the biggest things. I didn't discipline in her traditional way, but it was with love.
And so when you reflect back and think about your mom, is there one thing that you find yourself doing that you say to yourself, okay, I've turned into my mother? She used to do this and now I'm doing it. So is there maybe one thing that you can tell us that she used to do that now you're doing?
I used to think she fussed a lot. I used to think she would just get on to us. We called it nagging when we were growing up. Vishalia may have gotten a bit of that. Some of the things she would even say, I heard myself saying. So yeah, in that little, you get in that mother moment. Like, I can remember some of the things she used to say, and I hear those things coming back, but in a good way.
Absolutely. And the same for you, Vishalia. Are there some things that maybe your mom did when you were a child, or things that she said when you were growing up, and now you find yourself doing the same thing and you're like, I have turned into my mother?
Oh,
The face.
oh,
She's pretty much the same way with children. That she's a little disciplinary with with her niece and nephew. I can see me in her, because she doesn't take a lot. She's quick to be a bit of disciplinary. I guess she doesn't want to own that.
now that you say it, okay, that part, but
Okay.
not too much more as of now.
And so, Mayor, what is your favorite part of being a mom?
Oh, just one part?
Oh,
There's so
two or
many
three. Share two or three.
I said this just the other night, when your babies are little and they've not yet started to speak fluently, as a mother, you always know what they mean. Their little baby talk and their little gibberish, you know what that means. Nobody else understands that like you. And to me, that bond that Vashali and I share, a lot of people says that she doesn't look like me. I think she does, but I think that's neat that someone other than yourself looks like you. We shared a body for 9 months. So that is one of the most special things I think about being a mother, period. But she and I have a connection still, that she can say something, I can finish it. We think some of the same things are funny. I describe us sometimes as a 2-person cult, because we just get each other. And those are some of the things that you can only share with a child, I think, no matter whether or not you had them or not, someone that you've had a hand in raising, because they emulate you in some ways. But as a mother, there's some things that she does that I do. There's some things I got from her. So I think that bond is one of the greatest things about being a mother, and just kind of understanding what other people don't. And the fact that, as far as our relationship, even at 24 years old, she still consults me about things. She still asks me to do things with her. We still have a good time together. We can get together, and we're friends now. There was a long time in her growing up that, what was the phrase? I'm not one of your little friends.
Yes.
But she shared on Facebook once one of the little memes that said, all those years, my mother said, I'm not one of your little friends. And now here you are, one of my little friends. So
I love that.
now friends.
I love that. And Bashalia, answer this question for me.
Mhm.
What characteristic or trait in your mom would you like to see yourself doing or portraying once you decide that you want to become a mother?
Oh, there's so many. I will say that she has never let anybody influence her on how she raised me. So I don't want to be just giving you too much of our business. But like some things that like my aunts would say or my uncle would say, like, you shouldn't be doing that with her, or you should do this. And that's my kid, that's my daughter. I'm raising her, y'all not raising her. And it's like,
Yes.
I couldn't imagine if she wasn't my mom. So
I
she
love
she definitely she held her own in that sense.
Mhm. Yes, I love that. I love that. She is her own woman and no one thinks
Mhm.
her anything different. That's like my mother too. I admire that so greatly in her. She is her own woman and she is going to do what she wants to do, and she is has that independent spirit and that independent streak within her. And I love that about her, and I think that you're saying the same thing about your mom. So yes, that's fabulous. And so Mayor Creer, Mother's Day is this month. What is your um, favorite part of celebrating the actual day?
In the last few years, the actual day is a little hard for me because my mother passed away 2 days after Mother's Day in 2016. So the actual day is a little hard, but I think we celebrate mothers every day. And that's one of the things that I can appreciate. I'm not big on gifts. I'm not big on flowers. I'm not big on that type of recognition. I'm grateful to be recognized daily as Vishalia's mother and our other children. I'm also a Mimi. We have grandchildren. So that's something that I'm really appreciative of on a daily basis. So the actual day, I'm reminded that we don't have to wait until the actual day to show our mothers how much we appreciate and love them. So that's kind of where I am. We don't have to wait until the actual day because there are times when you may not make it to the actual day. You show your mothers how much you love them all the time.
Absolutely. I love that. And Vishalia, just one last question for you. What bit of information or tidbit would you want everyone to know about your mom, or fun fact about your mom that folks may not know?
Oh, a fun fact that they don't know.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, some people might not know. I think few people do know. She loves to do hair. Like she loves to experiment with doing hair. Um, Crochet braids, sew-ins. I'm trying to get her to learn how to do wigs so I can
Okay,
stop buying them.
that's great.
So she that's like one of her biggest interests.
I love that. I love that.
Mhm.
So, Mayor, there may be a salon in your future, maybe?
Maybe.
Absolutely.
I gotta, when I went natural, it's just, I think the hair bug kind of bit me. Even though I was always, I do my mom's, I do Vishalia's, I do my sisters, but when I went natural, I just kind of got a little infatuated with doing different styles like braiding and like she's crochets and sew-ins. It's amazing what you can teach yourself how to do.
True. This is true. And so, one final question for the both of you all. How do you plan to spend Mother's Day this year?
Actually, I think my husband and I will be spending Mother's Day together. We don't always get a lot of time together. We just celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary, and in this position as mayor, and sometimes we have to steal some time. So I think we're actually going to take a little trip. I don't know if Shaylee is coming with us.
From what I heard, the destination will be close to me.
We'll see her.
So
We'll see her.
Lovely. I love it. Well, Mayor, Bashalia, thank you so much for spending some time with today's Communiqué to talk about motherhood and Mother's Day. And I just want to wish blessings upon blessings to both of you all. And
Thank
happy Mother's Day.
you.
Like you said, Mayor, Mother's Day is every day. So happy Mother's Day.
Thank you. Thank you.
And that's a wrap.
All right.